Hello, g'day, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Mullen. It's so great to meet you. You're on the Unbreakable Business webinar. We'll be talking today for around about an hour. We'll be hanging out, so I hope you got that time set aside. It is a gorgeous day here. You might have heard that if you're from overseas to me, you may recognise the Aussie accent. I'm right down the bottom of Australia in that funky little island called Tasmania, and it's so cool to be able to share with you today all over the world what I teach business owners, indeed all over the world, to achieve breakthrough in their business. So just to let you know who I am an international business coach, author, speaker, and trainer, and right now you should be a business owner and operator. And if you are, my hat goes off to you. I know how hard you work. For 15 years now, I've been working alongside small to medium business owners, and so great to have you here. Thanks for being on the webinar today. So by the end of this webinar, you will learn 4 big secrets. And I say they're secrets because I know that no other business coach teaches what I'm about to share with you today. And that's what makes what I have to teach unique for you. You will be able to implement at the end of today's webinar what you learn, and you will also have the opportunity at the end of today's webinar to jump on a 15-minute strategy call with me if that's what you want to do. So there's a whole bunch of opportunity for you today. So stick around all the way through. My encouragement for you as well is to take a whole bunch of notes. What I've always said is that if you don't take notes, then you will remember less than 1% of everything that you want to learn. So please do take notes today as you go along. I've got my notes in front of me, and I'd love for you to be able to take notes as well. So I will teach you how to make your business work for you to give you the lifestyle that you deserve. And if that's something that you would like, I can't hear you, but why don't you just say yes and come along with me on this journey. At the end of today, there's one big promise. That is that if big if you implement what I teach you today and you make some smart decisions, you will attract more clients, you will attract more customers, you will grow in confidence, you will increase your sales, and dare I say it, you will have more time to do the things you love with the people that you love. That's my promise for you today. So if you implement is the big key. You can read a business book, you can go to a webinar, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. But if you don't implement what you learn, then I can't make any promises to you. But if you do implement everything that I teach you today, then I promise you'll have more time to do the things you love with the people you love. Sound good? I'm sure that you want more of that. If you don't, you know what? Just click off this webinar now. It's not for you. By the way, if you do stick around until the end and you like what I teach you, you'll have the chance, as I said, to hang out with me and my team. And by the way, one of my team members is here today, Jeffrey. Hey guys, Jeffrey's here with me today. You might hear him tapping away in the background. We're working here with the windows wide open. It's a gorgeous sunny day, as you'd expect. So you might hear cars going past, birds chirping, all that sort of stuff. It's a weekend here. You may even hear one of my kids rattling around. That's cool. This is just a really good conversation with the two of us today. So at the end, you'll have a chance to hang out with me, with Jeff, and with the team, and even meet some of the clients that I'm currently working with all around the world. And if that sounds good, then let's carry on. But before we go too far, let me just say this webinar is absolutely not for everyone. As I've already said, it's not for those who can't implement. If you just want to be entertained, go spend $9 a month on Netflix, because this is just not an entertainment webinar. So before I go delivering huge value, which for those of you that know me will know that I only ever dive in with huge value, before I give away my best insight to your business, I got to tell you again, you will not succeed by just watching this webinar. You've got to be able to use the content. You have to be willing to make some changes. You cannot be stuck in your past. If you can't listen, if you can't take notes, if you can't follow instructions, if you hate planning, and if you can't implement, and again, that's a deal breaker, then definitely this webinar is not for you. But if you can implement, if you're an implementer, give yourself a pat on the back. If you think you can work better with some more detailed plans, then okay, this will work for you. If you're willing to follow instructions, then this will work for you. If you want to take notes, this will work for you. If you can listen, this will work for you. And if you can be unstuck from your past, just draw a line in the sand right now and say that you're not going to be in your past. Then this will work for you. You'll go really, really well. Let me show you a little bit about what I've done and why I think this will work for you. A little picture of Tasmania there, by the way. So I think it's up on the northwest coast. Someone can correct me if they know better than me, but I thought it was a really pretty picture of the Dolomite rocks down here. Let me just tell you that I'm not one of those. I want you to know that I'm not someone who's just born with a silver spoon in their mouth and thinks that business is easy. Far from it. You know, I've been through the highs and lows of business, and it's probably, I would say, by the mistakes that I've made in the past that qualifies me the best to be able to teach you what I'm about to teach you today. See, in my early days, in my 30s, I had a JOB, a job. I say JOB because it stands for just over broke. And, you know, I got to work all the hours and wear the suits. It was kind of like a Harvey and Mike from Suits kind of deal. You know, the clients that I worked with were the world's largest cosmetic firm would call us the Suits. In would come the Suits. Anyway, working for that company, I learned a whole bunch of stuff and I became the #1 salesperson in Asia Pacific. That was great. They flew us over to Paris and we did some work over there. That was great. Then I became the business development consultant for Victoria in Tasmania. By the way, I used to live in Melbourne. I moved down to Tasmania 15 years ago. And when I moved to Tasmania, I moved as the sales and marketing, warehousing and distribution, sales, everything guy for Tassie for this brand. And I had this idea in my head that if I applied everything that I had learned in Melbourne at that stage, then it would work here. So anyway, we inherited this really, really awful business. It was doing about $300,000 in turnover. And I came in, applied a whole bunch of inappropriate stuff to this business, and it nearly died. So I took it from 300,000 to 160,000 just by not listening to my customers, by not listening to my audience. And it was a cultural mismatch. It was just awful. Anyway, through what I will teach you today, from all the things I'll teach you today on this webinar, I took that business from that limping $160,000 turnover up to 1.5 million with 35% growth year on year for the next 6 years inside of 12 months. So if you want to learn how to get those sort of results, then I will teach you. And by the way, since then, I've had 4 other businesses. Each one of those businesses has grown and developed, and we've had our roller coaster ride. We've been up and down and up and down, but the growth, the ley line has been incredible. In fact, just this year, I'm entering some business awards, and I did the figures, and it's so great to see. It's an almost direct, steady line of plus 40% growth every year, year on year, despite the ups and downs. So I wrote a couple of books. I've done a whole bunch of speaking, and here we are on this webinar today for me to teach you how to have the success you want. By the way, that's not my car. I wish it was. I do drive an Audi TT though, so that's something. Some may say that's a hairdresser's car. I don't care. It goes fast. Anyway, I want to show you how you can have the growth. More than 80% of the clients that I work with have doubled their business profits, and they do so quite quickly. Some people get the runs on the board really quick, inside of 90 days. Some people take a little longer, but it's always within 12 months. And for those that follow my system really closely and work with me really closely and implement, that's the big thing. That implementation is the key. You've got to be unafraid. So most of the clients that I work with, and I say most because some have just started and some are just getting used to thinking differently. But for those that have been with me for a long time now, all of them are happier, they're more confident, and there's loads of testimonials all over Facebook and LinkedIn for the people that I've worked with. These are some of the people I've worked with over the years. There's been hundreds. hundreds and hundreds of 15 years of working with small to medium businesses, speaking at humongous conferences. Flight Centre have flown me all over the world to speak with their teams. L'Oreal, Step into Life, the world, Australia's largest fitness company, having me on board as their coach, major banks and so on. So look, guys, I want you to be a part of what I've been teaching to all of these guys here, and like I said, hundreds and hundreds more. So what about you? Here's where we're at. At this stage of the year, right now, here's what I'm wondering about you. I'm wondering if you've got any closer to the goals that you set at the start of this year. So, Jan 1 rolls around. Yep, this year's going to be different. We're going to kick some butt and take some names. We're going to have a new business, a brand new approach. We're going to do it differently and so on. And I'm just wondering if you're any closer to the goals that you set back then, or whether, you set those goals, life happened, the normality set back in, and here you are another year doing the same thing. So, if you're riding that roller coaster, I don't want you to be disheartened, because here's what I know, and this is true of every business and every business owner that I meet. You've got to think of your business like a car, okay? You've got a really good car, but at the moment, you might be just a little bit bogged. Now, you might be bogged up to the tread. You might be even bogged up to the axles. I have no idea where you're at. But what you need is some traction. So there's nothing wrong with a car. You wouldn't get your car bogged and then jump out of it, set fire to it, or you wouldn't just sit behind the wheel and let it slowly rust down into the mud. No, you'd have a look at that value of that car, that $35,000 car or whatever it is that you drive, and say, well, how can I get this thing that I value and that I love, how can I get it to have some traction so I can get up out of the mud and get driving again? Why? Because I want to go somewhere. I want to go somewhere and I want to enjoy it while I'm going there. And if that's you, you're going to love this. What I've got to show you today, you're going to absolutely love it. So after all of the hard work that you are putting into your business this year, ask yourself this: how do I want it to be at the end? How do I want my business to look at the end of the year? Are you willing to put up with another year like you had last year? And are you willing to put in all of that hard work to realistically be not much further ahead than you were this time last year? Or is it time that you've got the results you really deserve? You're the hardest working, poorest paid employee in your business right now. And I think it's time to flip that on its head. What do you say? Let's have a look. Oh, there's this other problem. Sorry, guys. I've got to talk about this. And I speak about this at every conference that I speak with. Sometimes it ruffles feathers. It kind of separates the men from the boys. Some people will leave the webinar at this point. I get it, and that's okay. But you've got to know this. The biggest problem in your business as an owner-operator, the biggest problem in the business right now is you. I'm sorry to say that, but it is. But don't worry, it's the good news as well, because that means that you're the biggest solution. And what I teach is that your biggest strength, and I don't know what your biggest strength is, but you do, your biggest strength is your biggest weakness. And it's normally because you're incredibly capable. And, it's quicker oftentimes to just do it yourself. I'll do it. Don't worry about that. I'll do it. And that means that everything's happening up inside your head. And when that happens, your staff are all there to help you, but you're paying staff, and you're doing a lot of the work, or at the very least, you're doing a lot of the thinking, and you're not spreading the load. That's why right now you're feeling a little bit bogged. So the good news on that is today, by the end of today's webinar, you will be unbogged and unstuck. To get you there, though, I do need to share these 4 big secrets with you. I love this slide. Dr. Evil makes me laugh. Big freaking secrets. Most business coaches will have you focused on all the wrong stuff. And I don't want to put any other business coaches down, but there's a lot of people out there that call themselves business coaches, but really what they are is glorified accountants. And we've got to. I'm a human behavioural specialist, okay? So I know what needs to make your business tick, and it's the human factor. And I'm going to show you that. I'll prove that to you in today's webinar. But very few business coaches out there have an insight past 2020, an insight of where you need to be to get your business future-proofed, and where you've probably been operating in the past is you've been operating off of a 1990 model and 1990s advice, and you've been doing that without even knowing it. So you're kind of wanting to have this great business that will keep you safe into the future, but you're operating out of yesterday's bread. It's not fresh bread, and you can't eat stale bread in your business. So I just want to give you this really fresh approach that's really, really easy, and you'll understand it too. That's a good thing. You're just going to understand. So anyway, let's dive in, hey? First of all, I want to talk about the first secret, and it's character. Now, who you are, people know your name and they know what you like. I can look at your Facebook profile right now and I can get a snapshot of your character. But here's the thing, your business is not set up as a character. And I know that because if it was, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have this problem. So your business as a character is what we focus on first of all. And here's why. Businesses don't sell to businesses. And businesses don't sell to people, even though you probably heard that B2B model and so on. But it's not a business selling to a business. A business is a bricks and mortar thing. It can't get up and walk anywhere. It's people. People sell to people. One of my favorite people is a guy by the name of Truett Cathy, and he's the founder of Chick-fil-A, and it's a big American franchise, a chicken franchise. It's really, really tasty. What he said was, people want to work with people, not for a company. And it's so, so true. If the character or the personality of your business is unclear, then the message that you're giving out, the meaning that message has, and the marketplace that you're trying to interact with will only ever want you for one of two things. They'll either want you for a good time or for a good price. And they can't respect something that doesn't have a character. So if you feel that your business is lacking respect from the marketplace and you're not attracting the kind of customers that you want, they're all just after a discount, they're bad payers, you've got problems with your cash flow and so on, then the first thing you need to look at fixing is the character. We're going to dive in really deep into how to do that. I will teach you how to do that in just a few minutes. I just want to give you a quick overview of these pillars here. The second is capacity. And here's the problem. Most business owners, and you might resonate with this as well, you keep most of your plans or almost all of your plans up in your head. A good friend of mine, Max Walker, who we don't have around unfortunately anymore, Max Walker and I, when we hung out together, he would always talk about the next top computer. And what that means is that 6 to 8 kilo weight that sits on your shoulders can get fairly clogged up if you keep all your plans up in your head. And what happens here, it just slows the hard drive of your brain down. And I can explain it all to you by, how many neural connections are firing at any one time and how all that works and how your unconscious and your conscious mind work and how your unconscious mind never shuts down and how your conscious mind flags all these decisions and problems and gives you those 3 a.m. awake moments. But the secret to solving all of that, to give you a clear thinking space and to make you a more effective business owner, is to help you create some incredibly thorough planning documents. This is something that all of my clients achieve. So everyone that I'm working with right now has in their hands a quarterly planning document, and they're very, very thorough. Everybody reports their planning back into me every Friday. I review everyone's plans that I'm working with. And believe me, I enjoy doing it. It's really, really cool. But what it does, it helps to create a framework for your business where the thinking process slows down. So you get to think once and plan, and then you follow the map of that plan to the money. So think about this, right? If you're having a holiday, and my wife Gaynor and I, we book holidays all the time. Our last one was a cruise, and we went to the South Pacific. We're about to plan another weekend away. And when you plan for a holiday, it's fun, right? You want to know what you're going to see, what the weather's going to be like, what's around, what you can take photos of. So you need to know what to pack and how much money to take and all those things, right? But I'm willing to bet you're not planning your business as meticulously as you planned your last holiday. Here's what a plan is not. A plan is not a set of to-do things. It's not a to-do list or a set of tasks. It's a series of strategic steps that lead you towards the money or closer to the steps that will lead to money. And I really want to help you think of that. So we'll go right into depth with that today as well. The third secret is communication. Here's something you need to know, and that is that you cannot not communicate. At all times, whatever you do, you're communicating. Your staff, you, the way your vehicles drive on the road, if you have vehicles, the colours of your logo, everything that you do is communication. And in that communication, everything that you do is marketing your business. Even when your staff, if you have staff, and you should, when your staff leave your premises to walk down the street on their lunch break, that's advertising who they are and what the culture of your business is. So if you're taking notes, write this down. It's that your culture is seen before it's heard. The character of your business is seen before it's heard. So you can spend oodles of money, and Jeff and I were talking about this earlier today. You could spend $4,000 to $6,000 on a local media campaign, and easy. And Jeff's setting up all of my marketing at the moment on Facebook. You can spend a whole bunch of money on telling people who you are and what you do and so on. But if it's mismatched when they get to your business, then all that communication breaks down, and your customers and your potential customers see it as a lie, and they get scared and they don't want to spend with you. You will get, it's kind of like a 10-80-10 rule. So 10% of people out there will follow you to the end of the earth, and they trick you into a false sense of security. 10% of people will hate your guts and never spend $1 with you, but it's that middle 80% I'm interested in helping you communicate with. And we will get right into that. So we'll talk about how your business is culture driven and the accent of your business in this webinar as well, so that we can affect more than just your language and help you to control the perception of your business in the marketplace through the projection of your communication. So that's the first three. I will talk about the fourth one in just a minute. The fourth one I'm going to go right in depth with. But I just want to check in on you. How are you doing now? Like, does this sound like something you want to hear? If it does, then you should be looking down at where you've been taking notes and realize that there are more notes for you to be taking. If you haven't been taking notes and you're just using this as entertainment and it's just going in one ear and out the other, and you're doing something else at the same time, then, I do want you to stick around and take this a bit more seriously. What I'm about to teach you now makes a difference to the rest of your life. So I've already got my business together, and all the clients I'm working with, they've got their businesses together as well. But right now, I'm interested in you. You wouldn't be here unless you wanted to learn something and you wanted to implement something. So those notes that you're taking are really, really important. So we're going to go in depth, and I will include the fourth pillar in just a minute as well. And it's an easy pillar to understand, but you do need to really take some accurate notes on it. So while you've got a pen or a Sharpie or something in your hand, what I want you to do is pretend like that Sharpie is a magic wand. And on the back of your hand, I want you to write something down. If you don't want to write it on the back of your hand, that's fine. Write it down on a Post-it note or something that you can see. Imagine that you could create any outcome you wanted from your business, and your business became a thriving success, and you became a thriving success as a result. And because you're a success, you get to do things that you couldn't currently do. And it might be holidays, time with the kids, time with your wife, girlfriend, probably not both at the same time. That's a bad idea. But you get to spend some quality time in your life, not bogged down in the business. And, look, I hear all the time people say, oh, Grant, I enjoy my business. Yeah, okay, yeah, fine. You enjoy your business, I get that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. But there's more to life than just working, right? And if you don't agree with that, then, maybe this isn't the webinar for you either. But what I want you to do is write down on your hand, what, if you had a magic wand right now and you could make it happen, what would it be? What would it be? Would it be a cruise? Would it be a new jet ski? Would it be, just time hugging your kids? The amount of blokes I've met in business that just don't get to spend time with their kids, it kills me. Absolutely kills me. And it affects future generations as well. And I won't get too deep into that right now, but there might be something that you really want. I want you to write it down because it matters, and it matters to me, and I know it matters to you, and that's why we're doing this today, and we will come back to that later. So we touched on 3 of the 4 pillars. You've written something down on your hand or on a Post-it note. It's time to dig a little bit deeper. Your business is like a precious, beautiful object, and you want to display it. You want the world to see it. You want everybody, as many people everywhere to see your business. So you put it up on this pedestal. But the problem is the pedestal doesn't have a steady base. It's maybe like a one-legged base. And if you stick around in business long enough, you'll know that there's people that want to knock your business over and knock you flying. And if that happens, your business will get hurt. So if you don't have a steady, stable, four-dimensional, four-pillar base, someone will come in and they'll try and take at least one of your legs out in business. So today I want to encourage you to not be one-dimensional and not to be unbalanced, but we'll create these four legs for your business, just like a chair. You might have been sitting on a chair right now and might have 4 or 5 or 6 legs, depending on what kind of chair you've got. But if one of those legs got taken out from under the chair, you'd still be able to stay upright. But in your business right now, there's not enough of a base. So your security is at risk. And I want to help you to get that. We talked before about character. I want to walk you through this right now because most people don't understand how to build the character. And I talk about this with most clients that I meet the first time. I say, what do you want to get? And they'll say, more sales, more people, right? But you can't just go out and get that. Think of it like dating. Now it's been, like, I'm 45, right? So it's been a long time since I've dated. I've been married to the same woman now for a long time. I love my wife. We've been together for 26 years since we were really, really young. So I kind of haven't had to do the dating scene, but I've seen enough guys do it. And I've actually seen this around in coaching circles quite a lot lately. I like that other coaches have cottoned on to this one. This is what happens, right, in most businesses, and you might have even experienced this on LinkedIn. You get a message on LinkedIn that goes like this: "Hi there," and you say, "Oh, g'day, how are you?" And they say, "Are you interested in SEO or whatever they're trying to sell you?" And you're like, "Sure," and they go, "Right, great. Here's my program. Here's how you get into it. Here's how you can buy it." Blah blah blah. And they just start selling to you straight away, and then your response is going to be, "Oh, get started. I don't even know you." So here's the system. I want you to write this down. Here's the system. Here's how it works. You want to have a system for the character of your business. So first of all, your prospects, the people who are out there, they get to know you. That's the first thing. And one of the reasons that people aren't buying from you is they just don't know you, and they don't know the character of the business. They don't know what problem you solve. They don't know how to get to you. And I don't mean like the physical address, but you can have a great business that can solve a whole bunch of problems, but you've got this limited little market of regular customers that have been coming to you and just no space for growth because the character of your business is so hidden. So I think probably you've got one of the best kept secrets in the marketplace, and you need to make it one of the worst kept secrets. It's like one of those movies, one of those Disney movies where you've got the really good looking guy or good looking girl, and they undergo a makeover, and then out they go to prom, and the big reveal happens, and then they become kings and queens of the prom. Well, that's what your business is like. Once people get to know you, the second step is you want them to get to like you. How do you get someone to like your character of business in business? How do you get a person to like the character of business? Well, you have to solve their problem. And you need to reduce the risk in order to solve their problem. And there are so many ways to do this in 2018. Jeffrey and I are sitting here today, and we've been doing videos, we've been doing artificial intelligence robots, we've been doing YouTube, we've been doing Facebook, we've been doing our email marketing, a whole bunch of stuff, right? And truly, like at the time of this recording, I'm looking at 2020 and saying, okay, we better do all this now, and not just for my business, but for the business that I work with. We're going to do all this now. Otherwise, when the next phase of technology comes, you're going to be so far behind the 8 ball that you'll never be able to catch up. And if that doesn't scare the absolute crap out of you, it probably should. If you're still doing business on a 1990s model, we were here yesterday working. We've been doing 2 days of intensives here, and we were working with the windows open. And an old guy came past, didn't he, Jeffrey? And he was putting stuff in the mailbox. And so I shouted out the window, "What are you doing, mate?" And he said, "Oh, blah blah blah, real estate in your area." I said, "Oh, just don't worry about it. Just take it with you." And he said, "Oh, you can set fire to it if you want." We laughed. But great marketing. So, if you're still doing flyers and stuff like that, come on. That's not representing the character of your business, not in a modern sense. Those daggy old dudes that you see walking down the street wearing clothes that are like 15 years out of fashion? Well, that represents a character as well. And maybe your business is guilty of that too. Once they like you and you've solved a problem, then they can trust you. And once you get people's trust, that's what you're looking for. Once they trust you, then they'll buy from you. Once they buy from you, they'll refer to you. So your business has so much potential for growth just by developing the character. Once you develop the character of the business and understand how to bring clients in, then you can build community around your business, and you build community around your leadership, and your leadership is built around the problem, and you become known as being the solver of that problem. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty easy. So your business becomes a referrer and referable. So what happens there is it's kind of like your doctor. You've probably got a good doctor and good dentist and good chiropractor maybe, and you call them my dentist, my doctor, my chiropractor. And if somebody's looking for one, you will say, go to my doctor, go to my chiropractor, because you know them, you like them, and you trust them. All right, and they have a character. But your business right now is just not, it doesn't have that. So I want to help you to develop that. That's something we can work on together. I'll show you how, at the end of this webinar, I'll just show you how you can get that straight away. But I'm sure that you understand what's missing right now. Let's have a look at your capacity. Let's look at, again, I talked about planning, and I talked about how you plan maybe a holiday a lot better than you plan your business, or certainly a lot more thoroughly. And if it's not more thoroughly, you certainly plan your holidays with a lot more joy than you plan the joy in your business. So whenever I meet, again, with a client for the first time, the first instruction that I do, especially if you're a married guy, is I want you to look after the number one person in your life, your queen, your right hand, the person that supports you and loves you and puts up with all the crap, your wife. If you don't have a wife, then it's your partner. If you're talking, more contemporary language, you have a partner, your girlfriend, your main squeeze, whatever you want to call this person in your life. And you need to be able to book time with that person. And if you don't have that person in your life and you've got kids, then it's your kids. And if it's not that, then it's your friends, right? But if you're not booking in time to spend with those people, I can tell you right now, you're going to lose out. And you're going to start to resent your business down the track at some point. And it might even be right now. So the first thing in your planning is to book the things that are important for your life. And I'll talk to you about this just towards the end of the webinar. We're going to talk about a thing called the rocking chair test. And I hope you to understand this right in depth as to why this is so important. But if you're not planning your holidays, then they just won't happen. Or they'll happen ad hoc. There's a friend of mine, Andrew. He's got a great business, great guy. But he doesn't follow this system. I'm not his coach either, by the way. But he doesn't follow this system. And they were forced to take a holiday, right, we're taking the family to Bali. And they're forced to take it because things were not going well. He was working way, way, way too much, being really, really reactive in the business. And if that's you, then I want to say to you right now, things have got to change. You've got to book your life in before your business. And you might be thinking, oh, yeah, all well and good for you, but you don't know my problems. Well, I'm going to tell you, for 15 years, if you can show me a new problem that I haven't seen in 15 years, I'll throw the challenge down to you right now. If you can show me a new problem that I haven't seen in 15 years, I'll give you $30,000 worth of business coaching for free. That's my challenge to you, because I've seen it all. In 15 years of doing this job, I've seen absolutely everything. And I mean everything from terminal cancer to divorce to mental breakdowns to financial bankruptcy to having too much money. I've seen it all, right? So if you can shock me and show me a reason why you can't plan, I will give you $30,000 worth of business coaching for nothing. But what I can show you as well, I want to show you how you can plan more effectively, because most business owners will look at the big picture and it's freaking massive. It's like, you heard the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? Well, you do it one bite at a time. Well, most business owners that I meet, you might be the same. They've got this big elephant in front of them, this big thing. And you're like, well, how do I plan? I've got all this stuff. I'm too busy. I can't do that. And there's not the money and, the time and money equation, they go in together. It's really simple when you break it down. So I provide you with quarterly planners, so you can break down your quarterly sprints into monthly milestones, then weekly chunks, so that you can focus daily and work in a very focused manner. We call it working in the flow, work in a very focused manner to get you towards the elements of your business that will achieve greater income, greater relationship, more effective communication, and less pressure on you. The big thing is, I need you to get all of your planning out of your head and down onto good old fashioned paper so that I can see and you can see what your capacity really is. Otherwise, you just be carrying this ginormous weight around with you. And it's quite possible that you don't even know what you're worth in your business. You might not even know your hourly rate and what your value is. And if you don't know what you're worth, then you won't respect your own time. And that's potentially why you're so busy, why you don't have the time to do what you want. So let's fix that. Third thing is your communication. And it starts with the communication that you have with yourself. And let me ask you this. If all of your thoughts throughout the day and the week were recorded, all of your thoughts, right? Because we all have this area of our life where we're with other people and we speak in a certain way, and someone will say, "How are you, mate?" And you go, "Yep, pretty good. Things are going well. How's business? Going great." But your internal dialogue, that secret place that you've got just for yourself, right? That sanctuary where you just think, if that was recorded and then we were to play that back to all of the people that you've lied to about how well you're doing, would you be proud of that internal dialogue? Would you play it back? Now, if you're really honest, you wouldn't play it all back. Now, really think about this. How are you talking to yourself? And then how are you talking to your team, to your clients, to your suppliers, to your debtors? And then after all of that, how are you talking back to yourself again? So let's talk about how you're talking to your team. So I think you get what I mean about the self-talk, but your communication to your team, I wonder whether you're a vision communicator or a reactive communicator with your team. Are you a team leader in your business and an employer that just dishes out and doles out tasks? Or are you a vision casting leader in your business who brings the team together and has all of the team working for the common cause? Or have you got people in your business that maybe you can't work with as effectively as you'd like? Now, if that's the case, then the way you've brought people into your business is the way that they'll leave. If you've got people that have come in, they've been attracted to a certain thing, and I'm talking about the culture of your business, I'm talking about the character of your business, which is pillar one. They've been attracted to this character, and more than likely, if they're not the right people, they've been attracted to the money, and they may have a sense of entitlement about it. Maybe they have more days off than you do, even, and you work harder than them. But it starts and finishes with you. It's your communication to your team. And then your clients. What's the communication like to your clients? How are you educating your marketplace to use you, your services, your brand, your products? Or is it all about the transaction? Because if it's all about the transaction, then you'll be suffering from discount deficit. And all you got to do is walk down the street and see how many 50% off, 25% off signs there are, and shortly after that, you'll see the closing down signs. I guarantee it, because you can only discount your services down so far before you just disrespect yourself. But these things need to change. So how are you communicating to the marketplace the value of your business, and how does the marketplace understand this? And then your suppliers. How do you communicate with your suppliers? Have you consolidated the people that you're buying from, or are you still putting up with the same stuff that you put up with when you started the business? Meeting with lots of suppliers because you've always had it, you're good mates with them, and that's fine. You're good friends with them, and that's fine. But are you getting the best prices? Are you getting the best service? Are you getting what you really need, or are you still putting up with old mates that are dragging you down in business? And if that's the case, things need to change. And what about your debtors, people that owe you money? You know, I had a phone call last week, Jeffrey, you'll dig this. I had a phone call last week from a client, and she rang me, right? And she said, I'm so far into my overdraft, I need to find $15,000 fast, right?
Wow.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, okay, what can we do to find this $15,000 really, really fast? And my first question to her was, who owes you money? And you know what? She had $12,500 of that $15,000 owed to her in late bills. Wow. I know, right? But you know, sorry guys, I'm just having a side conversation with Jeffrey because I thought he'd be interested in this as well. But you know, that could be you. Like, why are you so scared to bring in the debts? Why are you so scared to have really clear trading terms? We do. It's payment up front. That's it. Period. You know, no money, no honey. You don't get paid. We don't get paid. You don't get the service. That's it. Because we know, and we get paid. Like, I've got zero late payers. And you might say to me, oh, but Grant, and so if I had $1 for every time I heard, oh, but Grant, you don't understand, I wouldn't even need to be doing this webinar. But I do understand, because not only have I owned a business that's a consulting business, I've owned many businesses in the past. And, you know, I've owned businesses that I'll tell you about when we catch up. But I understand what it's like to bring in debtors. Thing is, you've got to treat your communication with everybody the same way that you treat yourself. It starts with you. If you respect yourself and you have great self-talk and a good self-love, a good healthy level of self-love and ego, then you're going to have great communication going out to the marketplace. And I want to help you increase your confidence. And I said there was a fourth pillar, and I meant it. And I touched base on it just a moment ago when I was talking about that client of mine who needed a $15,000. Here is the fourth pillar. It's your cash flow. I cannot tell you how often, or you know what, I'm actually sick of it. I'm sick of the cash flow problem. Let's just fix it now, like right now. I'm going to give you 4 ways to fix your cash flow now, and I want you to go do them straight away. Here it is. The first one is what you're spending your money on. Stop spending on unnecessary things. Now, if you're in Australia, it's the wage bill. And we've got to look at the wage bill. If you're in Australia, I know it's different in the US, but if you're in Australia, your wage bill could be what's killing you. Why? Because you don't have the systems, the policies, and the procedures in place to have a really well-organized, well-oiled machine of people who are in love with the character of your business and have great communication and have great planning and great KPIs, great goals and great interactivity. You've actually got people that are there and they shouldn't be there. You've got people that maybe they came in at some point of time in the business to solve a quick problem while you were busy, and now you're stuck with them. Well, I want to say right now, you're going to do it the proper way. You're going to do it the right way. But you need to reorganize where you're spending money. And maybe it's not the staff. Maybe you're operating, and this happened with a client of mine again just recently. He was operating out of this humongous premises, huge, and he was paying $30,000 or $50,000 a year. I think it was $50,000 a year in rent on this humongous premises. And we did a little bit of work together, and we did some reorganizing and some rejigging. And now he spends $6,000 a year on a much smaller, and I'm talking like 1/8 the size. We've leveraged his business down to way fewer staff. So I think he's saving something like $280,000 to $300,000 a year in outgoings, and his business is booming. His growth is off the chart because now he's got some capital to work with. He can put it back into his marketing. It's absolutely awesome. So your spend is number one. You've got to look at that. And if you don't know the numbers, then you don't know your business, period. Let's look at the second one. It's your bills coming in. Pay them. Just pay them. That's it. Pay your bills, damn it. Pay your bills, get the monkey off your back, move forward. Because if you're still, and by the way, if you're like, oh, great, I don't have the cash in my bank right now to pay those bills, make the phone call, organise a payment plan, sort something out. Whatever it is, you've got to schedule your payments. Know the numbers, know your business. Why will this work? I'll tell you why. Because you're not paying them at the moment, and you might be thinking, oh shit, I know what he's talking about. I'll pay everyone. All right, that's you. Just hang with me for a minute because I'm talking to someone here. If you've got debts, then you won't be confident in increasing your sales. The two just go hand in glove together. If your debts are all organized, then you'll feel really good and really confident to go out there into the marketplace. But because you've got debts, it's like telling a lie in your business. And because you're lying about your debts, you're not going out confidently to sell. So you have to make the phone calls and make a payment plan or just pay the damn bills. And once you do, you'll be far better off. You're able to sell more confidently. So that's the bills going that you owe people. But then the other thing is to control the debt coming in. And you may not have clear trading terms in your business. And if you do, then you haven't been strict with your trading terms and you've got people that owe you money. Now, I don't confess to you, I've had this in the past. I've even had this recently. We missed one tiny little thing, and we were really fortunate. We didn't even notice, which was kind of good. But it means that the person who's owing us the money, they are less confident and they are less inclined to spend more with us. So here's what I know. If you keep your debtor days low, if you keep the money people owe you low, their confidence in spending with you becomes higher. And that increases your cash flow. Most people don't know this. We've been doing this for years and years. 15 years ago, when I started my first company here, it was $160,000 that I took to 1.5 million inside of 12 months. And the biggest thing I did was I brought in all the debtors because everyone was freaking out at how much money they owed the company historically. So we organised payment plans, we brought them all in, and we reduced the debtor days down to zero, and it operated at zero debtor days for the next six years, and it had 40% growth year on year, every year for 6 years. I mean, it just works. Here's the fourth one. I want you to write this formula down. It's S plus M equals FE. S plus M equals FE. It's sales and marketing fixes everything. And that's a formula that you've got to know. So many people I speak to, I've got my head in my hands right now. So many people I speak to just don't like sales. I don't understand it. You got to love sales. You got to be great at sales. If you want a copy of my most recent book, it's all about sales, called Heroic Sales. If you want a copy of that, just tell me. I'll send it to you. You just follow my system in that book. I'll give it to you for free. You just have it because I want you to be successful in sales, right? So if that's you and you want a copy of the book, then I don't know. How do we do that, Jeffrey? Do we can I just message me?
Yeah, just message it, or we can set up a chat box. We can
set it up. So go to my Facebook page or something like that and just message me.
No, just message.
Yeah, just message me, and you can get a copy of that book for free if you're sales hesitant. But if you don't know how to say, if you don't have clear KPIs, if you don't know what a KPI is, key performance indicator, if you don't have a clear KPI, a clear goal, a clear plan, clear goalpost, just think about football. You've got to know where to put the ball. Otherwise, you can't score a goal. You've got to know where you're headed in sales. We have very, very, very clear sales goals in our business. And that means that I've had to work solidly for 2 days, 14 hours a day to create an absolutely watertight program so that we can create the sales goals that we want. And if you're just taking whatever you're getting, then you're at the mercy of the marketplace. And when the marketplace crashes, your business will crash. You've got to be in control of the goals. You've got to be in control of the figures. And write this down if you haven't already. Know the numbers, know the business. Okay, let's land this plane. So far, I've given you some killer info, and I know that because you're still here. And if you didn't like it, you would have gone by now. And what it means is that you're ready to implement. Now, I said at the beginning that if you stuck around, I'd give you the chance to work with me and my team. And normally I charge a whole bunch of money for that. There's a whole lot of hoops to jump through and all that sort of stuff. But because you're here on the webinar today, I'm going to clear all those hoops away and I'm going to make it like ridiculously cheap. All right. So if you wait just a minute more, I'll show you how you can get me working for you in your business for just cents in the dollar, right? Or if you're overseas, nickel on the dime, right? I want to show you how you can just get me working for you really, really quickly, really, really easily, and help you to get that traction that I talked to you about before. By the way, have a look down at your hand or that post-it note where you wrote down what you want. If you want that and if you're serious about it, I want to help you get it. So maybe take a photo of that as well so you don't lose that info. What you could do though, is you could just take what you've learned from today's webinar and you could go. You can go now if you want, because I'm not going to teach anything extra. You can go and you can run with it. But I'm kind of thinking that you've had a lot of this sort of info before, but the big problem, as I said, was in your implementation. And I've got some great tools to help you implement. And I want to put you in with a really great group of people as well. I want to put you in to my networking group with my clients in my little secret business boardroom place. So if you want just the info that you got today and you want to go try doing it yourself, go for it. I take my hat off to you. It's awesome. But, I know for me, even I can't do it all on my own. But you've had access to a whole bunch of info for years. But right now, it's time to make the decision to implement. I want to help you do that. I want to help you make that touchdown. You've been running for a while with the ball. I want to help you make it count. Go into the end zone. So let's have a look. Reality check. Let's have a look at where you're at right now and where you want to head. There's no more hiding how you feel about where you want to head. We know that what you did to get you here today was absolutely awesome. You've worked your butt off. I nearly said a bad word then. But is what you know that got you to here, is that truly enough to get you to the next place? If it was, you never would have clicked onto this webinar and you definitely wouldn't have stayed here for this long. So let's draw a line in the sand. Everything that you've done up till now is great, but you need help to get to the next place. Last of all, before you make that decision, I want you to give it the rocking chair test. Let's pretend you're 92 years old, you're looking back at your life, sitting in a rocking chair with someone you've loved your whole life. And you remember today's webinar, you remember this opportunity, you remember that you had it. I don't want you to regret not taking it. I don't want you to get to 92 years old and go, oh man, I had this guy, I got this webinar, he talked about this stuff, but I was really, really stubborn and I didn't take it because I thought I could do it all on my own. So I took it and that was that time, that fork in the road. I don't want you to have any regrets. You got potential of pain ahead of you, and I want to help you to take that pain away. So that fork in the road goes two ways right now. You can leave this webinar with a bit of inspiration, maybe a few ideas, or we can hook up and I can become a part of your future. I don't want you to have any regrets. Every day your life is filled with decisions. Every day you make tens of thousands of decisions. Do I turn left? Do I turn right? Do I go straight? Do I speed up? Do I slow down? Do I cut through the orange light? What do I do? And there's a button below on this page. And what it does is it takes you through to the next step. It's not a sales step, the next step. It's just to have a look at what you could be in for. If you've enjoyed what you've listened to from me today, if you've enjoyed the energy, if you've enjoyed the information, if you've enjoyed what we talked about, I want you to go to the next page just to check it out, just to be sure that you're not leaving today with any regrets. All right? And you get to make a decision. It's totally, totally your decision. And I want for everyone that I work with to be a good, solid decision maker and a good, solid implementer. So this will sort out who can achieve and who can't achieve just by taking the next step. And what I know is this: if you do click the button below and go to the next page, I know you're the right person for me to be able to help, because I know that you're an implementer. I know you can take the next step. On that page is our guarantee. It's really simple. It's a love it or leave it guarantee. 30 days, so low risk. You've got nothing to lose. And the last thing is this offer on that page will not be up forever. Jeffrey, do we know how long it'll be up for?
This stage is only up for a week.
Only up for a week. Okay. So I want you to go there now. Check out that offer. It is only going to be up for a week. Jeffrey says so. So there we go. Guys, I really want you to implement those 4 key pillars. Let me just go through them again real quick. Let's go back through here. So your character, your capacity, your communication, and your cash flow. If you think you've got it all under control right now, that's cool. But if you think you would like some help with that, then I'd love to be able to do that for you. There is limited spaces available, limited time offer, and it is on the next page. So thank you so much for coming. I'm Grant Mullen. You can check out my website, grantmullen.com.au, or just type in Grant Mullen Business Coach into Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever it is that you use, and you can find out a whole bunch about me. So that is it. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I really hope you enjoyed today's webinar as much as I've enjoyed presenting it to you. And we'll catch up again really soon. What am I saying? I'll see you inside. Go click the button, guys, and we'll be catching up in just a few minutes. Thanks. All the best.